that means?
Let's try.
You can't force anybody to be a Muslim.
Let's see if that's what the Quran says.
It says that. I'm telling you. It says that in the Quran.
I'm going to read to you now.
Yeah, what translation?
Surah At-Tawbah, Surah chapter 9, verse 29. Fight against such of those, please read. Fight against such of those who have been given the scripture as believe not in Allah. Those who believe not in Allah, nor the last day, and forbid not that which Allah has forbidden by His messenger, and follow not the religion of truth until they pay the tribute readily, being brought low. Now, wait. No. Let's go through this. Let's go through this.
Make a statement. What's the point?
Excuse me, sir. Please learn to listen. If you can't, move on.
I'm not moving on because a lot of
Quran is asking, commanding Muslims, instructing, commanding Muslims to fight.
Right, yeah.
On what basis? On what basis?
It says that in the Bible. Sorry.
On what basis? Fight against, excuse me please.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Fight against those who believe not in Allah. Do you believe in Allah, brother? No, I'm reading. I read the entire verse once. Now I'm going through it step by step. Why are you afraid? Do you believe in Allah, brother?
I'm still trying to find who Allah is.
You don't even know who Allah is. And so clearly you would not believe in Islamic Allah. But clearly he is a Christian. And therefore he would come under the category of who Muslims have been instructed to fight against. Let me go through. One second.
In Surah At-Tawbah 9:29, we come across the striking command qatilu. This verb, rooted in classical Arabic, carries the sense of killing, fighting, and waging war. It appears here as a direct command, not as a suggestion for dialogue or debate, but as an explicit call to armed conflict. It appears here as a direct imperative, not a suggestion for dialogue or debate, but an explicit command to engage in physical battle. Right from the start, the verse speaks of concrete action, not theory. The command is aimed at those described as alladhana la yu'minuna billah, those who do not believe in Allah. From the Quranic perspective, a Christian who rejects the Islamic Allah automatically falls into this category. Even if a Christian were to say, I don't know who this Qur'anic Allah is, the text still defines him as an unbeliever. The verse adds another criterion, those who do not believe in the last day according to Islam. Christians do affirm resurrection, yet because they do not embrace the eschatological framework of the Qur'an, they are still labeled as disbelievers. The verse goes further, targeting those who do not forbid what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden. This strikes at the level of Islamic law. Since Christians do not live under the halal and haram regulations of Islam, they are again cast as rejectors of Allah's commands. The text then states that they do not follow the religion of truth, la yadnuna dun al-haq. The verb yadnuna is drawn from an Arabic root that conveys the idea of submission, obedience, and living under a system of law. The phrase dun al-haq, the religion of truth, is understood by Muslim commentators as referring specifically to Islam itself. So anyone who remains outside Islam, including Christians, is automatically placed within the scope of this command. The climax of the verse is the clause hatta yu'tu al-jizyata an yadin wa hum saghirun. The word jizya comes from an Arabic term that means to recompense or to give in return. In practice, it became the head tax imposed on non-Muslims living under Islamic rule. But the verse adds something more. Wa hum sagirun. This phrase means being made small, humbled, or humiliated, describing a state of enforced inferiority. This means non-Muslims are not only required to pay the tax, but to do so in a state of humiliation and subjugation. Classical commentators such as Ibn Kathir and Al-Tabar stress that jizya should be collected with visible gestures of disgrace, non-Muslims coming in person, being made to bow, or being placed in an inferior posture. When we put all these layers together, the picture is unmistakable. For any Christian who rejects the Quranic concept of Allah, even if they claim ignorance of who that Allah is, the verse places them as an enemy to be fought. Only two options are given: submit by paying the jizya in humiliation, or face the sword of war. No third path is offered in the Qur'an's wording.
Which category?
Well, which category? The category of people who ought to be fought against.
Yeah, what is that?
Fight against those who have been given the scripture as believe not in Allah, nor the last day. Do you believe in Islamic end time exposition, brother? You don't believe in that. They're coming after you to fight. If anyone wants to follow you, follow Islam. And forbid not that which Allah has forbidden by His messenger. Who does messenger mean here? So, whatever Muhammad says, you ought to follow, apparently. And if you don't, your Muslims have been instructed to fight against you.
Okay, for what reason?
And follow not the reasons I've given you so far.
No, you haven't.
If you don't follow Muhammad, if you don't follow Islam, they will come after you.
No, that's
What
not
is
what
the
the
reason?
Bible says. Carry on, now you're making lies, man.
And follow not the religion.
Do you know what jizya is? You don't know. What is jizya?
Are you willing to pay the jizya, sir?
You're talking to a Christian.
Let me ask you, are you willing to pay a slave tax? A second class slave tax.
Can you listen to this man?
Yeah, let's read.
Let me contextualize, brother. He'll contextualize it.
And follow not the religion of truth until they pay tribute
Do you know what's the punishment?
readily, being brought low. You will be subdued.
Yes.
If look, yes,
Yeah, but
they're just waiting for that to happen. Yes.
Under what condition? Yes.
Well, the conditions have been read so far. Haven't you been paying attention? You either should become a Muslim,
Is it on basis of religion?
follow Messenger
Yes.
Muhammad, follow Islam, follow his
And if you
religion,
follow Islam, you have to pay zakat.
or you should be willing
you know
to
that?
be submissive before Muslims.
Okay, let me give you
If you
context.
don't
Now listen
do
to the answer.
either of them,
Would you like to listen to the answer?
Muslims have been instructed to fight against you.
Okay.
Do you think that's a good idea, brother?
Listen to me. You're in an echo chamber. Listen to
me.
the answer.
Listen
Thank
to
you.
me. You know, under the caliphate of Abu Bakr Siddiq,
Please come here.
There are many Muslims who refuse to pay zakat. Do you know what's the punishment? There's a punishment for people who don't pay zakat, right? Similarly, there are those Jews and Christians. In this verse, it's not talking about fighting them on the account of religion. It's on the account that they're not paying the jizya, not on account of religion.
Yes.
All right.
They were treated
So,
so well.
Did you hear?
Thank you.
Don't say
Did you hear the answer the gentleman gave?
Don't say that, bro.
Did you hear the answer the gentleman gave? The gentleman said, this is against some other time. Do you believe in the Quran to be the eternal word of Islamic Allah, sir? Do you believe in that? Do you need to follow the Quran today? Do you need to follow the Quran today? Do you need to follow the Quran today? If you read this instruction, would you obey Islamic Allah or not? Do not run away.
You tell me which
Would you obey the Islamic Allah or not?
You tell me which country's caliphate.
Excuse me, sir. Would you obey the Islamic Allah or not?
Listen to the answer.
Well, if your answer is this is only in Islamic Caliphate, let me better tell you, of course, we would never let you do that here. Clearly, we are not fools to let you do that here. Clearly. But the question is, would you dare to do this anywhere? That's the question.
In Surah At-Tawbah 9-29, the text itself makes it abundantly clear that its foundation is religious. The command qatilu, which means fight, is not framed as an economic or tax issue, but as a response to those who do not believe in the Qur'anic Allah, who do not accept the last day as defined by Islam, who do not follow what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, and who do not embrace what is called the religion of truth, that is Islam. The payment of jizya is not presented as the reason for war, but rather as a way out, a means for non-Muslims to remain alive, though in a position of humiliation. In other words, the war is religious in nature, and jizya is simply the compromise imposed under conditions of subjugation. Etymologically, the word jizya carries the sense of paying back or giving in return, but what truly defines the verse is the phrase wahum sagirun, while they are humiliated, a term that conveys being made small, low, and debased. Thus, this is not merely about paying a tax. It is a political and social symbol of enforced submission placed upon those who reject Islam. Classical exegesis underscores this point. Ibn Kathir interprets the verse as evidence of Islam's superiority and the necessity of subjugating the people of the book by humiliating them in the act of paying jizya. Al-Qurtubi reinforces this by stressing that humiliation is an essential component, not just a financial arrangement. The historical context of the verse supports this picture. Most commentators link it to the expedition of Tabuk in 630 CE, when Muhammad mobilized troops against Byzantium and their Arab Christian allies. It was a military campaign, not an administrative reform. Following the conquests, jizya was enforced on Jewish, Christian, and Zoroastrian communities as a sign of submission. Early Muslim historians, such as al-Baladur in Futu al-Buldan, describe how jizya collection emphasized the inferior status of non-Muslims. Even figures like Sophronius of Jerusalem lamented the humiliation imposed on Christians under Arab Islamic rule. Modern scholarship has also recognized this verse as part of the ideological foundation of early Islamic expansion. Patricia Crone and Michael Cook argued that jizya was never a neutral tax, but a mark of subordination. Fred Donner noted that from the 7th century onward, the Arab conquest relied on this verse to define non-Muslims as Ahl al-Dhimma, second-class subjects. Reading the verse merely as a fiscal regulation strips it of its true historical and exegetical weight. Here lies the contrast with Christianity. Jesus stated plainly, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight." Paul exhorted believers, "As far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." The gospel emphasizes love and peace, while the Qur'an enshrines war or humiliating tribute as the mark of submission. In conclusion, whether viewed through the lens of textual analysis, etymology, classical exegesis, or historical record, Surah 929 stands as a religious militaristic command that relegates Christians and Jews to an inferior position. Modern claims that it was only about taxation or limited to the past find no firm basis in the Islamic tradition itself.